Alright guys, just finished supper on Sunday night, and I was down here earlier today. I was putting this assembly on with the battery on that camera. Actually, I think the memory on the card filled up. But anyways, I've got it on. This is actually the second time I've got it on, because, second time today, because I had almost all the bolts in there and tightened up when I realized I forgot to put this belt on. And I remembered, luckily I remembered before I started putting everything else in, that this belt has to go on before this assembly goes on. So I've got that belt in there now. So the next thing I need to do is I need to put the sheave and bearing assembly, need to install that. And I remembered from last time, I remember that I'm going to make sure this belt is on the inside the sheave and fed through there before I drop that whole assembly in there. Otherwise I'll have a heck of a time trying to get this belt in. Let's see how that works out. Lock that quill in the down position, makes it easier. Alright, I think that does that. Now we're going to put that cap on. A little bit of rust in there. I thought I cleaned this out. Maybe I forgot. Alright, so now I've pulled the belt so that the sheave is up widest position, which simulates this being the smallest diameter that it can be, which would be the highest speed. And I checked and verified that my pin here on the inside of there is in the right position on the ramp, so that when I put my handle on, I'm going to want my handle oriented to here, and then I'll be able to turn it that way to slow it down. That should be right, so that I can, hopefully I can avoid that mishap I kept having of finding that I kept having the handle on the wrong place. So I want my handle on here. So, looking at this, there's really nothing to lubricate this. I cleaned this surface up in here, and I cleaned this surface up when I had this out all apart previously. I'm wondering what should maybe be in there. So I think I'm going to put a light film of grease in there. I at least want some grease in this track right here, where this nut right here rides up and down in. Because this doesn't spin, this part right here doesn't spin, nor does the cover, I don't have to be as picky about the type of grease, I don't think. That doesn't really spin, that just moves up and down inside this cover. And I know that this faces forward. I went through that enough times now. Another clue is that the last time I took this off, one of the alignment pins stayed in the head and one of the alignment pins is in the cover. So this has to go this way. Alright, so I'm going to put my handle on, because I need it to do the same job as before, which is keep this bearing retainer from falling down in there on me. And again, I already determined the handle's going to face this way. I tighten these down all the way just to make sure I pull that bearing carrier up. And once I did that, now that shows me that that sheave is not fully seated yet. The timing belt does feel like it's in position though. Well, you know what? Might be hanging up on the brake here. Alright. Let me get my dead blow mallet. Get a couple of screws in the back here started, so that when I tap on the front, the cover doesn't just want to pop off the back. turn this timing belt pulley while I'm tapping this, just to make sure that it helps it line up. That's pretty much it. Alright, I got one more screw to go in here, but well, not supposed to move this while it's not running. Not only that, but it's almost impossible for me to move it because I've got these top screws too tight. Now that I have this cover fully seated though, I can loosen these back up. Alright, now if I put this handle on right, I should be able to look in there and I should see that sheave close up as I turn the handle this way. Can't see it. I can feel it though. Yeah. Good. Now, let's try and tighten these a little. That's way too loose. Boy, it's amazing how small of an adjustment can make such a big difference on the tension on this thing. There we go. I'm gonna leave it there for now. Gotta get that motor on. Well, I could either tilt the head up vertically. I want me to lock the quill. What I was going to say was I could either tilt the head up vertically, climb up on top of there and ride it like a cowboy like I did last time. Or maybe at this angle here, maybe I can they can deal with the wrestling that thing in position. No, that's right, because I got to deal with getting this belt on and everything. That's kind of a pain. I'm going to have to bring this thing up vertical anyways. I'm going to put something on here so I can pull this from the other side while I honestly don't remember. With a little luck, this will be the last time I tighten this until I go to tram this mill. Alrighty. I had a much easier time getting up here last time. Problem is the motor's in the way of getting my leg over. That must look pretty ridiculous. Gotta be a bit of a contortionist. You know what I did? I moved the ram out. Extended the ram out further so I could swing the turret without the back of the ram hitting my wall here, and I forgot to put it back in. So this thing is further back than I want it. I mean, further up that way than I want it. I suppose I could reach these bolts without falling down. There you can. Alrighty. Alright, that's set to the lowest speed, and the spindle is in low range. And I forgot I still got the collar in there and never put the drawbar back in. Oh. Oh. Just fits. Are you kidding me? Still won't go into high gear. What the hell's going on here? Idiot, I had the spindle brake on. I can get in and out of low range to neutral, but I can't get it to go to high again. A long day. Well, I've popped this upper cover up a little bit. I found a bolt that threads into one of those holes that hits the blind area there, and of course it's got the cover up that way, and was able to get this to shift into high now, but when I shifted it into high, that's actually what pushed the cover up, so something's still not, obviously not right here. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do now is I'm going to loosen these bolts to get this head floating again. looks like I only had the one still tight. Yeah, alright, and we're going to see whether or not we can get this whole thing to seat. I'm guessing that's in high gear, but I don't like the way it sounds already. Just gonna put 2 screws in crosswise from each other. Probably shouldn't have that run on. I got my sleeve right near this belt. The frequency to 60 hertz, it should be 400 RPM. See if I can get an indicator on there. The top of this drawbar is wobbling like crazy.